Good morning, Unity of Pompano. Hi there, Lawrence. Good morning. My name is Amy One. Here we go. Welcome on this rainy morning. We're so happy you're here. Ready? Standing outside the door of love and mercy, you wonder if there's a place there for you. You know there's peace inside, but you're still searching for someone who understands the pain that you've been through. The door's unlocked, the lights are on. What are you waiting for? Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. You'll find a place of rest in the arms of spirit. God's waited so long for your homecoming day. God knows the peace you seek and the hurt you're feeling. Spirit wants to hold you and wipe your tears away. Oh, the Father awaits with open arms. God is calling out your name. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. Yeah. Well, there's room enough in the house of love for someone just like you. Oh, come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Memorial Day. So glad you all ventured out in this weather. I know a lot of you have tuned in on live stream. Welcome. You're our spiritual family, snug and you're warm and dry. We welcome you today. All of you, if you're not familiar with our live stream, it remains on the website all week until we record the next Sunday. And then after that, there are podcasts of just the audio portion of the lesson. So that 20-minute podcast is there. If you've missed some of the lessons and friends are telling you you missed it, you can go to the website and see it. So that's unitypompanobeach.org. So welcome, everybody. If you're soaked, it's okay if you stand up to dry off a little bit. Louise, did you get dry? Thank you all for coming. I'm Bev Spivey. It's my pleasure to co-minister here with my husband, Reverend Lawrence Palmer, and we're just so happy to see y'all today. Our music team is normally under the direction of James McCoy, and James is not here today. His niece is graduating high school in Russell, Kentucky, so he's there with that family gathering. So we are very pleased to have many of our usuals and one additional. So we've got John Rose at the piano. And we've got Pete Wallace on organ, Pedro Barroas on drums, and substituting for James McCoy, big shoes to fill. Moritz has been here before. It's Pedro's brother, Moritz Barroas. Thank you. And of course, our wonderful soloist is back again, Amy One. Thank you for coming, all of you. So as we get going here and welcome everybody, let's settle in and remember what our vision, our theme is for the entire year, is having the courage to imagine. and to let that imagination play in our lives as it might have when we were a child, and to use it to advantage now as a true spiritual power that it is. Our monthly theme is inspiration, and that too is part of our imagination. We have to be aware that we can imagine more and more inspirational thoughts and ideas in our mind. So let us affirm this together. I am inspired to do all that is mine to do. And I wanted to start now, because of this Memorial Day, we want to honor all of those who have served in our country, in service not only with men, but also now with women. And so I just wanted to highlight to you that Memorial Day was first officially observed in 1868 at Arlington Seminary, where wreaths were laid on the graves of the military from the Civil War. But I thought you might find that interesting on the heels of Mother's Day that just occurred a few weeks ago. This tradition actually started in the South with a group of women in, I believe it was Columbus, Georgia. They organized a memorial association, and their memorial association was to remember the Confederate soldiers. And they had a day, April 26th, 1866, and as they went to lay the flowers on the graves of the Confederate soldiers, these women realized that the families, mothers, loved ones of the Union soldiers were just as grieved. And so they went ahead and they spread the flowers over those graves as well. And then in the 2-year time, that news spread into the North, and the idea caught on. And so now Memorial Day is for all who served. So let us hold that in mind now as we have a brief prayer. We honor today all those who have been in military service. Those in our midst today, we are so happy for your return home to us safely. We honor your patriotism, and we remember all of those who served. And we remember on Memorial Day the tradition that many of us grew up with of honoring all of those in our past who have gone before us. Some of you, like me, may have been taken to grave sites as a child where we laid flowers and wreaths on the graves of our loved ones. And so honoring is part of our tradition, and we are blessed to remember those wonderful people who have gone before us and served us. And so it is. Amen. And while we honor service, we honor peace as well. So I missed our vision and mission. You know what they are. Let's just go ahead, and you can go to our website if you're really curious. They're there. Let's say together our statement of peace. Unity of Pompano, a member of Unity Worldwide Ministries, stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, the many ways to worship God, for there is only one power and presence of God, and that God loves each one of us equally. We urge all nations, their leaders, and their people to turn to God by whatever the name for guidance during these challenging times, and pursue peace, not war, for this is what honors the God of all our faith traditions. Unity stands for peace in our lifetime, and so it is. Amen. Let's stand together now and sing together.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the spirit all all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I am thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I am thankful, I am thankful. I am one with God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I am thankful, so grateful. I trust in God.
And if you're here for the very first time today, we especially thank you for getting here in spite of the weather, and we want to give you a warm welcome. If you would raise your hand, please, if you're here for the first time. Oh, we've got someone that weathered the storm. Thanks for coming. Of course, oh, and in the back as well. Welcome. We invite you and everyone to go next door for fellowship time after this service. We have coffee and snacks, and it's a time to get to know each other. So we invite you to do that. There are contact forms in those packets that you were just given, Introduction to Unity. We invite you to share your email and your contact information with us, and we will simply add that to our email notification list. There are prayer slips in the chair backs and in your welcome brochure. Unity is very committed to being available for prayer in whatever avenue you need in your life. And we look to prayer as a daily practice, not just waiting for crises to happen, but daily keeping prayed up and appreciative of all that we have in life. So if you would fill out your prayer request, there's a chest at the back that they may be put into. It's brought here during the prayer time so that we remember to keep each other and this facility in our prayers. And then our prayer chaplains review those requests and keep you in prayer all week long. So we invite you to do that and take advantage of our prayer. Prayer service is also available to you a half hour before every service here, so 10:30 on Sunday mornings. You're welcome to come in and sit in the prayer chapel in quiet. There's always a chaplain in there to assist you if you want to have prayer with a chaplain. It's the first room on the right. And our chaplains will stand at the end of the service and be available for prayer with you as well. So we invite you to take advantage of that. Announcements today. We, Unity of Pompano, and through Lawrence and me, are members of the Interfaith Council, One World Family. And One World Family is seeking to do different things throughout the year. You may remember the big prayer gathering we had. But they decided to do some introductory forums and practices so that you may learn to understand other faiths and other traditions. So on Tuesday night, right here in Fellowship Hall, we're going to be exploring Buddhist meditation practices with Kathy Bishop, who was a Unity trained, first as a licensed teacher, then a Unity minister, and now she's a Zen Buddhist priest. Some of you may know Kathy, and you're welcome to come out for that on Tuesday evening. Lawrence will also be here sharing ideas about meditation. So that's Tuesday evening. We also have another opportunity for meditation and healing vibrations. This will be on Thursday evening, where Lawrence will be leading us in a shamanic journey, and that will take place in Fellowship Hall. We have Power Hour that I wanted to remind you that it continues Every Sunday of the year, every time there's a service here, there is Power Hour. So come on out to that at 9:30 for a wonderful discussion led by our licensed teacher, Cynthia. And I believe, Rick, did you lead today? When Cynthia is out of town, Rick or Libby, lead that group. Thank you, Rick. And we also have something to put on your calendar and save the time. In fact, you can go to Eventbrite and actually get the tickets. You can go to our website. There is a link there on the very front page, homepage. You just click on that. It'll take you to Eventbrite with lots more information. But this is an opportunity to let peace begin with you, to let peace begin here at Unity of Pompano and spread throughout. This man is director of the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation out of California. Several of us heard him speak at our regional Unity meeting in October, and we were so impressed with what he had to share that we are bringing him here in a community-wide. We are sharing with not only Fort Lauderdale, but the other Unity ministers in our sub-region, Gold Coast Ministry, and also One World Family Interfaith Council, all to get this publicized and bring it about. This is not a spiritual gathering as such. This is an event for educators, for students, for just regular people in your community to come hear about peace. It may be a little difficult for you to read on the slide, so I encourage you to go to our website, where Dee has placed a short 3-minute video of Paul Chappelle speaking, and you'll be able to hear more about it. We have made this affordable for all. He will do a presentation Friday night for donation only, the same with a Sunday afternoon workshop, donation only, and all day Saturday for $40. This, if you are a teacher or working in the community with others in any way, I would encourage you to come hear about this, to see how we can be taught to wage peace and how that is missing in our society and always has been. So this is definitely a new age thing to do, and come out for that. And we encourage you to go ahead and buy tickets so we can plan for it. Paul Chappelle will also be our Sunday speaker. Lawrence and I will be here, but he will be our Sunday speaker on that July 22nd as well. So keep that in mind. The other thing to keep in mind, we're giving you a preview. This isn't even on our website yet, but you may remember that last year we hosted a week-long event of 4 Unity classes every day. And that was so successful. We had so much fun with it. So back by popular request, we are doing it again the week of October 22nd and 26th. I'm sharing it with you today in hopes that you will look at this schedule and see if there's something you can work around your work schedule or your home schedule so that you could come even for one class. You may come for 1 class, 2, 3, or 4. The first one at 9 o'clock is going to be Healing and Wholeness. That's going to be led by Reverend Luzette. The second one at 11 a.m. is Foundations of Unity. That's going to be led by Cynthia Roberts. This is based on Discover the Power and some of our Unity classics. It's considered the first class that students can take to get familiar with Unity. 2 o'clock is Lawrence on the third sequel of Metaphysics. But you need not to have 1 or 2. Come on out. This Metaphysics 3 is all about understanding spirit and ego. And at 4 o'clock, I will be loving to teach Overview of the Christian Scriptures. You may know that history, biblical history, is really my thing. And if you hate Bible, I want you to please come. Olga, I converted you, didn't I? Yes. There are reasons why we use Bible in Unity and use it in our everyday life as a worthwhile thing to do. So come on out. So keep these days in mind. The class fee is $65 per class. Know that that's discounted from the usual Unity rates that are held in other areas. It's discounted from the online courses as well, but it is a true course. If you want Unity credit, you may have it. We have a $50 fee available for any of you that would also agree to serve as volunteers. So Cynthia is on vacation today, but if you speak with me or email us is even better, so we have a record. If you email us of your interest, whether it's to volunteer or just to attend, we'd love to hear from you. And now, as a teaser, we're going to cruise to Havana in February 26th. Ron and Chris are also gone this weekend. They are putting this cruise together. Next weekend, we'll have the full information, and then probably a week or two after that, we'll have a meeting in Fellowship Hall so you can hear all about it, because you'd need a passport and the whole 9 yards. It'll be a 4-day cruise, leaving on Tuesday, February 26th, going a day and a half in Havana, and back here on Saturday morning, March 2nd. So I'm hoping you'll all get that on your calendars, and when somebody asks you what you want for Christmas, you want cash. All right, let's all stand and greet each other.
1, 2, 3.
This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made.
You may be seated now. Oh yeah, when the music stops, we sit down. Is that what James says? Yes. Good morning. I'm Rick Riccardi, speaking the word for today. I choose to live this day as a whole and complete experience. My mortal mind may be eager to focus on perceptions of lack, creating shadows across the energy of the day. Yet what a gift it is to realize that this day is whole and complete, waiting for me to discover it and appreciate its unique energy. I am one with the essence of love and abundance that is my experience of the divine. Anything that may seem to be missing is merely an illusion born of my limited human perception. Today, I affirm wholeness in everyone and everything I encounter. Through my perceptions of wholeness, I feel and express the fullness of the Spirit I truly am. I choose to live this day as a whole and complete experience. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Psalm 118:24.
I am at peace. I am at peace. I am one with the Spirit. I am calm. I am still. I am doing God's will. I am at peace. I am at peace. I am one with the Spirit, and I'm caught in the presence of the Lord. I am at peace. I am at peace. I am one with the Spirit. I am calm. I am still. I am doing God's will. I am at peace. I am at peace. I am one with the Spirit, and I dwell in the presence of the Lord. And I dwell in the presence of the Lord.
I invite you now to settle into that very comfortable and familiar position for your body. And as you do so, you can give your body that loving permission to relax, to let go, to let be. And with that loving permission, your body will immediately move its focus from the outer to the inner. You can, in like manner, give your mind permission to relax, to be still. Because this is a time of being. And there's nothing that we need to do, nothing we need to think about, but just to be fully present. Because we are enfolded in that pure divine presence, that substance of spirit. We are one with the I am. And with body at ease and mind at ease, your awareness is free then to commune with Spirit. And as your awareness sinks deep into your heart, you find that presence of Spirit that is always there, that becomes even more real in the stillness. Now, on this day, we have chosen as humans to celebrate Memorial Day, a time of remembering, a time of honoring. And as your awareness is in that deep of your heart, immersed and enfolded in the pure presence of Spirit, take a moment and just be aware of what it means to remember and what it means to honor. There are many who have gone before us that have served in the military. There are others that have served in many kinds of ways, altruistic ways. There are many of our spiritual ancestors that have spent their time and their energy honing their spiritual skills and passing them along. And there are those who have held the space of pure being. Let us honor them. Let us remember them. Let us claim our heritage of oneness with them. So in this stillness now, in that sweet communion with Spirit, let us be. And now, as you prepare to move your awareness back to this space and time, you know that even a moment during which your awareness is immersed in that deep of your heart, that healing and transformation take place. And you know that you can bring with you into your mind, into your heart, into your body, the very essence of this experience of the stillness. And in this coming week, as you choose to, you can take a deep breath and recall once again this experience of presence, of being. So with a deep sense of gratitude now for this opportunity, I invite you to take a deep, slow breath in through your nose and hold it for a moment, and exhale slowly through your mouth. When you're ready, open your eyes and we will sing together, Alleluia.
Tired of living life in black and white. There's so much in between, like a rainbow in the sky, crying to be seen. When I open my eyes to find inspiration, I search for the best I can see. If I settle for less, I won't be the best I can be. When I dream in color. I see a love for each other. I give you so many good reasons to capture a dream. Oh, yeah. Life is short, but can't be bought. And time is a very precious thing. I wanna go where I've never been and see what's never been seen. From the morning I won't take for granted, there'll always be another new day. Got to live for each moment, never let time slip away. Oh, when I dream in color. I see a love for each other. I'll give you so many good reasons to capture a dream. Whoa. If I wasn't aware, if I didn't care about people and places and things, yeah, how could I live a life fully satisfied, not knowing how to dream? When I dream, oh, when I dream in color. I see a love for each other. Show me a child who's never has seen a vision that shows what life truly means. I'll give you so many good reasons to capture a dream. Oh, to capture a dream.
Wherever James is right now, he had this psychic hit and he went, ah. Thank you so much. Good job, man. Oh, my, as always. Does anyone have blueprints for an ark? It seems like we need it around here. Some of this place around here gets a little scary sometimes. You all heard the story about the railroad tie floating down the middle of the street. Well, not this flood, but the one before. And that over there fills up, so it gets kind of interesting, but we'll all claim it good. We'll claim that ancient Genesis promise that the Lord is never going to destroy the world by water again. Just scare us a little bit, right? I've shared with you during this month a series of 4s. There were the 4 things that you cannot do. The 4 things that you will not hear in unity. And last week, 4 affirmations. And I want to finish up the series, although the series is not finished, because in the process of doing these 4 sermons, I got 3 more on 4s. So that'll come somewhere down the road, I'm sure. Today I want to share with you about the 4 accomplishments. And the passage of Scripture we'd like to use comes from Ecclesiastes chapter 2. A person can do nothing better than to eat and drink and find satisfaction in their own toil. This too, I see, is from the hand of God. Humankind can do nothing better than these things. The first accomplishment is to eat and to drink. Now, some of you smart Alex would say, well, everybody eats and drinks. What's the deal about that? Well, we understand eating and drinking as meaning, in this case, living life to its fullest, being fully human, and being a part of what goes on around us. Now, there are 2 components to this matter of this humanness and living life completely as a human. One is the emotional side of it. Now, do you know some people that are really happy and really experience great emotions along the way? You do. You know some people who are perpetually sad or angry or some other emotion that doesn't serve them or anybody else really very well. But this is part of our beingness, this emotional side of who and what we are. And I have a theory that I believe is absolutely true, though I cannot prove it. I think innately we know that there's a duality in us regarding our feelings. And if sleep is right here where nothing's going on at all, and we see that joy and light and happiness is up here and sadness and darkness is down here, I think we know this fact that however capable I am of experiencing the light, I am equally capable of experiencing the depths. And I think that scares the daylights out of some people because we know that to be true. I've had so many people come into my office and say, I'm afraid to be happy. I'm afraid to laugh. I'm afraid to allow myself to experience what's good around me. And there are dozens of reasons why we do that silly thing. But we refrain from embracing the heights of our emotions for fear of those low ones that come along as well. But here's the kicker that most people don't realize is that we get to choose this. I can experience the absolute heights of positive emotion, and it's not necessary that the next day I'm going to plummet down to here, which is what most people fear. And that happens sometimes because of our body operating. You pump your body full of happy juice, and everything's great. Well, there comes a time when that has to get diluted a little bit, and you get back to what's normal or what's everyday. Well, what happens to a lot of people is you start here, and everything's so great, and your body starts adapting, and then your thoughts kick in, and you go down here. And we get the idea that that's necessary, that is going to happen, but it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice of how far we go in either direction. Yet if we are afraid to let ourselves to experience that great joy for fear of the great darkness that comes along with it. We only have the great darkness if we choose it, and we have that capability. Now, we're talking about capabilities here. We're not talking about necessities. I am capable. I've learned to be capable of incredible joy and absolute bliss. And I'm also aware of the capability I have of anger and fear right down deep. But I can choose how far that goes. So we have that power in hand of living life fully, completely, fully human, and letting our emotions be free and choosing where they go. So the emotional side is one part of being fully human. There's also the experiential side. Do you know anybody who lives life safely? They play it safe all the time. Don't take any risks. Don't step out. Don't make any noise. Don't do anything exciting. Just let things go along real nice and easy. Don't rock the boat. Let it be that way. There are a lot of people who live that way. And why do they do that? It's nice and safe. You always know how things are going to be if you never let it get out of hand. But I think that there's built into us a desire to live boldly and to let this life, this human life, be all that it can be. Now, I'm not talking about going out and being stupid and doing things that are irresponsible or whatever. Now, I jumped out of an airplane when I was 50 years old, and I intend to do it when I'm 100. And some people say, are you crazy? I've had a number of military people say, why would you jump out of a perfectly functioning airplane? But I did, and oh, it was glorious. But you know, I have no desire whatsoever to bungee jump. That seems crazy to me. But I will jump out of another airplane. I want to go hang gliding. There are all kinds of things like that that I'm excited about doing in this life because they're wonderful experiences. Someone said one time that if you're going to have a story, make it a big story. Martin Luther, who began the Lutheran movement, in his early days, he was tormented with guilt and shame, and every little sin he thought he committed, he ran and confessed it. And the story is that one day his confessor said, Martin, please go and commit a sin worthy of confession. To live boldly. A little girl was sitting at the kitchen table one day coloring, and her father walked in the room and looked over her shoulder at the picture she was drawing, and all the colors were very, very light. The light was very, very light blue. The grass was very light green, and the barn in the picture was really light red. And he said, honey, why are you coloring so lightly? And she says, that's so when I get out of line, you can't see it. I'll let you think about that one. Someone said, love God, love your neighbor, love yourself, and do as you will. Live life boldly. Live life completely as a human being. Now, there's another side to this as well. I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't bring metaphysics into this. So what about the metaphysics of eating and drinking? There is nothing better than that we eat and drink. Now, metaphysically, eating and drinking represent taking spiritual substance into our being, into our soul, into our spirit. And sometimes we use it in such a way that eating represents our thoughts and drinking represents our feelings. And even this in the metaphysical sense, we eat those deep, and wonderful, nourishing thoughts of spirit. And we drink those delicious feelings that go along with it. Now, last week, I talked about the 4 affirmations. Now, what was the first affirmation? Thank you. I am. It's not, I am. It is I am. There's power that goes along with that. So we say that with authority. And we eat that spiritual substance of I am and take that within ourselves. And we allow ourselves to feel what goes along with that. When you say I am, in that powerful voice, you feel something, don't you? And it feels good. And it feels true. That's the spiritual substance that you are taking within yourself. You are eating and drinking spiritual substance. There is nothing better than that we eat and drink. Now, the second accomplishment, there is nothing better than that we eat, we drink, and we find enjoyment. So many people don't ever find the enjoyment of being alive and being here and being human, but oh my, it is there. There's so many things about this life that are enjoyable if we allow ourselves to embrace them and to let them be. And again, we're not talking about something frivolous. We're not talking about running all over the place trying to find something that we enjoy and not doing it. But taking time to be still and look at our world and look at our life and see what is there that we can indeed enjoy. We enjoy one another. It's so much fun to watch around here, and I hope you don't feel like I'm a voyeur or something. But when we have fellowship, I love to stand at the edge of the room and just look around and look at people's faces as they're talking to one another. You don't see that when somebody's unhappy. You don't see that when somebody's struggling with something out in the world. That I can't know how to describe it. The image of peace and the image of light and the image of joy when you're relating to somebody who shares what you believe and you share your heart with them. And oh my goodness, how wonderful that is to find that enjoyment of one another. And finding the enjoyment of our personal life. to find a book that opens your eyes to something, a book that kind of lovingly whacks you right between the eyes, and you see something you never saw before and you realize something new. And then your prayer time or your meditation, when something, something opens up before you like you've never seen before, how enjoyable, how joyful that is. There's nothing better than that we find enjoyment in this life, and it's okay to enjoy it. How many of you know, have heard of Garrison Keillor, the great storyteller? He picks on the Lutherans all the time because that's his family heritage, and he always talked about the dark Lutherans. And he said the dark Lutherans are always terrified that somewhere someone is having fun. He must have known about unity, huh? There's nothing better than that we find enjoyment in all that we do. The third thing, there is nothing better than that we find enjoyment in our toil, in our work, in what we do. You know anybody who's miserable doing what they do every day? Bless their hearts. I've known a lot of them. I used to say that I felt guilty because at such a young age I realized what I was supposed to be doing with my life, and it's this. And I used to say I felt guilty about it. Now I just am incredibly grateful for being where I am and getting to do what I do. That is such an incredible gift. And I know from that position of knowing that for myself, I've met so many people and counseled with so many people whose lives are not like that, who don't enjoy their work and what they're doing. And many people don't know what they're here for. Why am I here? What am I to do? That's a legitimate question. I'm not making light of it at all. But it's one of those great accomplishments to be able to recognize what is mine to do, the affirmation that we've had for this month. Doing what is mine to do. And one way is to ask yourself that question over and over again. Is this mine to do? Is somebody coercing you to do it? Well, it's not mine to do. Somebody expects something of you. Well, it's not mine to do. So when you begin to ask yourself that question, is this mine to do? You can start eliminating the things that aren't. That's called via negativa, the way of the negative. If you eliminate everything that's not, what's left it is. So if you begin to find the things that you've been doing that are sapping your energy and taking your life force, and you start eliminating those things, then what it is that you need to be doing, what is yours to be doing, will eventually rise up and you'll see that. And that's one of the great accomplishments of life, is to see what is yours to do, to find enjoyment in that toil, in what you do. Now, what often happens is when you start talking about this, I found people will say, they start thinking about, well, I'm never going to be president of the United States. I'm never going to be the founder of my own company. I'm never going to be somebody famous. I'm never going to be a great politician or a great philosopher or whatever it is that you think you're not going to be. And unless that is yours to do, don't worry about it. I have a thing in my head. It's going to be a sermon or an article, a book or something one of these days called In Honor of the Ordinary. A lady came in one day to my office and said, "What is the meaning of life?" And she was serious as she could be. She was not joking. And before I could stop myself, I looked at her and I went, there you go. And I was waiting for her to throw something at me or scream or whatever else because of my seemingly flip answer, but that was spirit coming through right then, and she got it. First and foremost, what is ours to do is to be. Not a matter of what you do, not a matter of whether you're famous or not, or whether somebody thinks you're wonderful or not. The most important thing for us to do is to be. Be. Right here, right now, who you are, what you are, right here in this moment. It's got to be your starting place, or everything else is just window dressing. So what we are here for, what is yours to do, is to be you. You are unique. And I know that's been carried to. I saw a bumper sticker one day that said, "You are special and unique, just like everybody else." But you are special and unique. You are you. And the one thing that you can do that nobody else on this planet can do, nobody else who's ever lived can do, is to be you. Right here, right now. And if you start there, if there, you say, here I am, that's the beginning point. And after that, everything else is gravy. Finding out where you belong in this world, finding out what work you're supposed to do in this world, all of that is secondary to being able to say, what is mine to do is to be me, right where I am, in the circumstances I'm in. Then you can start looking at everything else. There's nothing greater than to find out what your toil is, what your job is, what is yours to do. The fourth accomplishment, there's nothing better than to recognize that all of this is the hand of God. Everything is the hand of God moving in this world. And when we recognize that, we realize that we talk about being co-creators with God. That was one of the first things that really attracted me and excited me about Unity, is when I heard this thing about being co-creators with God. I thought that was pretty cool. But I've gone a little even beyond that for myself. And I see that God's doing all the work. And I am a part of that, of God expressing, and God is doing that work through me, as me. I am. So realizing that God is working all of this. When you're meditating, we say, okay, count your breath. Whose breath are you counting anyway? Huh? It is God breathing you. You say, do this. Well, who's doing it? No, God is doing this in you. Think this. Well, God has to think it first before it can come through you. We come to recognize that all of this is about God's presence. The book that's being studied in Power Hour right now, Starkey's book, It's All God. How true that is. And it's a great accomplishment in this life to recognize that and to embrace that wonderful truth that it is God's hand everywhere. And it is not a hand that comes to smite us. It's not a hand that comes to punish us. It is a hand that comes to love us and support us and hold us up and empower us. It is God's hand. How many of you know of Joseph Campbell, the great professor and storyteller, and we call him a mythologist? He and Bill Moyers are best known for a series that they created on PBS about the power of myth, and they turned it into something written as well. They're great big books about this big, and I refer to those all the time. But one day in an interview, Bill Moyers asked Joseph Campbell, let me read this to you, make sure I get it right. Joseph Campbell was once asked by his co-author, Bill Moyers, do you ever have the sense of being helped by hidden hands? And Campbell said, all the time. It's miraculous. I even have a superstition that has grown on me as a result of invisible hands coming all the time. Namely, that if you do follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while, waiting for you, and the life that you ought to be living is the one that you are living. When you can see that, you begin to meet people who are in your field of bliss, and they open doors to you. I say, follow your bliss and don't be afraid. And doors will open where you didn't know there were going to be. When you are on the right path, invisible hands will come to your aid. A great accomplishment to recognize that all of this is the hand of God. So I invite you to go into this week with a sense of celebration for those things that you have accomplished, for a sense of delightful anticipation of those things that you're moving toward. If one of these things I've spoken about this morning resonates with your heart, then hold that in your mind in this coming week. There is nothing better than that we eat and drink and find enjoyment and know what is ours to do and to recognize it is the hand of God at work in everything. Quite accomplished, quite joyful, quite powerful. One more time, there is nothing better than that we eat and drink and find enjoyment and know what is ours to do and recognize the hand of God in everything. God bless you.
And now we take this opportunity to give and share and help support Unity of Pompano, which relies only on our friends and contributors since we don't receive funds from anywhere else. We are happy to say that we always run in the black. We have a wonderful stewardship program here of dedicated givers. Some of you have made a commitment for the year, and we thank you for that. And we thank each and every one of you for all that you do. In addition to giving your money, you keep us running and happy with all of your many hours of volunteer service. So thank you each and every one. I will remind you that you can sign up for Amazon Smile. And I believe we've gotten, $25, $30 here and there from the small percentage that Amazon shares with us, but more and more of us are shopping online. So it's real quick and easy to go to Amazon Smile and choose Unity of Pompano, and then it's automatic after that as long as you make your purchases through Amazon Smile. And, the computer systems are so easy now. Once you log in, it automatically puts you there. So thank you for everybody for all that you've given. Those of you who are listening in on live stream today, there is a donate button you can use to send in your offering right now. All of you should know, too, that when you click on that donate button, it gives you the opportunity to have a regular payment made. If you're traveling a lot and you prefer to just have a regular monthly deduction, or it can be made weekly for that matter, it's real easy to fill it out on the website as well. So let us appreciate all that we have in life. Let us appreciate all that we have to share, and let us take our prayer together. I give as an act of joy. As we have been blessed through the Creator's good pleasure, so are our gifts drenched in joy. Today, I declare joy for myself and all others. Joy is mine. Joy and more joy is mine. Everywhere I go, I see joy. I feel it, I experience it, I freely give it, and it multiplies itself around me. And so it is.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what I had to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit of my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Say no more struggle, no more strife. I let my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pete, how did you do that? Did you hear that? How did you do that? That little blurp blurp. Yeah. If you missed our Overjoyed concert last Sunday night, talk to somebody who was here because they were fantastic. We had a wonderful time. Thank you, band. And if you're wondering what to do on this rainy day, John Spirit is this our book for June? Once We Were Brothers. The author is Balson, Ronald Balson. Once We Were Brothers. If you've got audio books or stop by the library or whatever, good day for reading, right? It might be a good week for reading as well. You know what? Catherine's here. Catherine, why don't you come on up? School is out, and we won't be having Sunday school. See how big she's getting? When is school over?
For me, my graduation is June 1st.
Oh my goodness. Congratulations. And we will suspend our Sunday school classes during the summertime because Catherine and others will be traveling and having a lot going on. But when she's here, I use her as an example of how all of you can at least learn the prayer for protection. So let's stand and close as Catherine leads us.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let this begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it be with me. Oh yeah, happy Memorial Day, everyone. Have a great Sunday.